Shut up and sit down.
It's round 11 of the ChampCar iRacing series. It's our third and final visit to Virginia International Raceway, VIR, and the cars for tonight's competition. The TCR class, the Audi RS3, Hyundai Veloster, Hyundai Elantra, and the Honda Civic Type R. Looking at that weather, doesn't look too bad for this time of year. Looking at that track length, of course, this is a slightly shorter version of VIR. Still got the famous roller coaster, still got the long pit straight into a hairpin turn one. What we don't have is the oak tree corner, and, well, it's not quite the oak tree it used to be. 60 minutes of racing coming up for us as well. Qualifying is on track right now, and then the 60-minute race with the compulsory stop is coming up after that. David Haynes here with Devin Peters and Michael Derby. Devin, how we doing?
Oh, we're doing good. It's always a good night to watch front-wheel drive cars. Try and prove that they're better than physics, as as I'm often reminded. But hey, it's a good little circuit. It's got lots of challenges, and these are some fast cars. It should be fun to watch them.
So with our eye on the qualifying right now, this is that section unique to the North Course to connect you between the lower S's and then around in this slightly different approach angle to the roller coaster. Maybe slightly less fearsome as you approach it at a little bit less speed, but still nonetheless that massive drop of elevation change that we're used to. At the moment, Tim Wire is at the top of qualifying from Kyle Robertson and Joshua Soto. And Will Nonamaker, Simon Foweather, Ian Giebler, Orlando Herald, Bowie Sewan, Davis Trask, Mark Kruger, and Logan Stenhauser. Here's Joshua Soto at the moment in third.
I really love this middle section, and not just because it is kind of a tricky little off-camera thing, but also because if you look at the track map, there's only 3 corners in there. 7, there's 8A, 8B, 9A, 9B, and 9C. 3 corners.
Oh, there's 8A, is there, bud? A. I don't know what I'm saying, so do forgive me. As your braking zone for turn 1, I suspect the best place to make some passing happen. You go one of the Honda Civic Type R's of Will Nonamaker. He's 4th at the moment. Had a personal best sector through there, but still a couple tenths short of the ultimate best that's possible. Yeah,
it's been a pretty settled qualifying session for the last little bit. That being said, we are seeing a couple fast laps out there for a few people. Soto's been creeping up the order the last 10 minutes or so, and Robertson put in a purple sector this time as he comes to the line. See if that's enough to tick him over. Doesn't look like he's moving up, but is getting quicker. 29.8 is the fastest lap he's put in this session. I think a little bit of cloud cover is helping him out right now.
So I think we do have one of every kind to stock our ARC, but there's certainly plenty of Honda Civic Type R's out there. Actually, that said, I'm not sure I've seen a Veloster. You've got 2 Hyundai options, and that's maybe one too many, potentially. Still looking like a good lap for Kyle Robertson, with time gained in the first sector, time gained in the third sector, about half a tenth off in the second, and it's a very, very short final sector.
Yeah, Robertson's pumping in some good ones, and with this toe, he's going to be feeling good.
Just a little bit of time, not enough to take pole position though. He got a little bit of a slipstream here as well, which certainly helps you along the pit straight. Everywhere else it's traffic, but on the pit straight it's a slipstream.
Yeah, I'm not sure he'll be able to fit in another one here before the end of qualifying. I have to see.
Last lap was 24.0 in the first sector. That's 24.1, so already a tenth down. I think I see him backing out of it. So that might be qualifying done for Kyle Robertson.
Did see Simon Foweather practicing the launch out of the pit lane, and may not have had a straight wheel for that launch. Some indication on the pit wall that he didn't.
That's one of the Audi RS3s.
Neat paint job on it. Never seen a Pokeball themed.
It looks like he's got some factory seconds leftover wrap and applied it slightly haphazardly, but maybe beats just a plain white car.
It looks like there's like Great Balls mixed in and the Master Ball. I can't remember. It's been too long. I'm having a touch of nostalgia though.
Yeah, there you have it. Checkered flag out at the moment. Everyone on a lap will be able to complete it, but that's a niche club at the moment, taking in Tim Wire and maybe Simon Foweather. Here we have, navigating just the end of the lap, that hog pen corner still as challenging on this configuration as any. A lot of elevation change, and you can't run out too wide because you can't put power down from the front tyres if one of them is in the grass. So that'll be about it for Simon Foweather, I think, and that's not looking like a lap that will improve him because it needed to be quicker than a 1 minute 30, and of course it was just his out lap as well. It locks the grid in with Tim Wire on the pole ahead of Simon. No. Start that graphic again. Ahead of Kyle Robertson, Joshua Soto, Will Nonamaker, Simon Foweather, Ian Giebler, Davis Trask, Orlando Herald, Bowie Sue, and Mark Kruger, and Logan Senhauser. Let's see if we've got a graphics machine that will pick up all of the cars in the correct order.
We'll get there in the meantime. Should be a good little race today. We got a pretty tight grid with looks like the top six kind of being all in one cluster, and then the bottom six or bottom five kind of being in the next cluster, all around that 131 mark. So it might even shake out into being a two-class race. 2 or 4 different cars, of course, means not just a variety of cars, means a variety of different paces, and that looks a little bit more correct now. So you can see all the times shaking out there. So pretty much everyone back to Ian Giebler. It's running right around that 129, 130, low 130 kind of pace. And then everyone behind that's running the 131 class. And no matter who or what pace you got here at the ChampCar iRacing Series, you always end up having a good time. There's good guys around, good racing to be had. So I'm looking forward to it. I love these compact little tracks.
Yeah, there's our grid again, and they're forming up on pit road behind the pace car. You get an interesting narrow little pit exit after starting side by side here, but it's a good idea nonetheless, and that correctly shows the slender gap that Tim Wire took pole position by.
Yeah, got that lap in pretty early for himself, but held off Kyle Robertson by only 7/10. And Josh Soto, despite his best efforts, wasn't quite able to put one all the way together in order to knock them off the front row. Soto, of course, is usually hard to catch, much less beat in a qualifying session. So he's maybe a little bit out of his element with this front-wheel drive car.
Here we go for the formation lap, round 11 of the ChampCar iRacing Series. And Devon, be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the great prizes on offer in the ChampCar iRacing Series this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the overall points champion for this year has already been determined. Mathematically, we got Mark McCormick, who's going to be going home with $1,500 Champ Buck dollars, I believe. Am I wrong? And We also have 3 random draws for the best B-tier clubs. So if you show up for 4 consecutive races, 1st to 4th race, 5th to 8th race, 9th to 12th race, we've got 3 250 Champ Buck prizes on offer. And to folks who participate and then get lucky enough to get pulled from the draw. And then, of course, we've run our Endurance Series this year, and we just had our final round of the Endurance Series, which was a great time for everyone involved at Mid-Ohio, where we had 4.5 hours of excellent racing and got to hand out a couple more prizes, 4 $150 race winner prizes and another $150 to the season-long champions, the Spinny Boys. So it's been a great year racing, a great year of prizes, and this is our second to last round. We got one more to go at Sebring International on December 13th in the Mustang. And then we'll be looking to get some feedback for next year. If we get to do this again, we'll see what kind of cars, what kind of drivers, what kind of experiences folks are looking for. It's been a pleasure to run the ChampCar series, this iRacing series, this 2023 season.
Here we go, about to get it underway with pole sitter Tim Wire on alongside him on the front row, Carl Robertson. The row behind, Joshua Soto. Do not see. Oh wait, no, there's Will Nonamaker. He's just hanging back a tiny bit in the other Salen's Honda.
I did misspeak. It's Josh Soto who's won the season-long prize.
Pace car in. Green flag, ready to wave. Field accelerating down towards turn number 1. 60 minutes on the clock. Green, green, green at VIR, and Tim Wire is away nice and early. Cold tyres for everyone, though. It can be a big issue on this car, more so than some others. It gets a very different balance to it until that tyre pressure comes in, until they warm up. The Honda's leading the way down in towards turn 1. There's Simon Foweather and Will Nonamaker battling it out, and Foweather in the Audi gets down the inside, and there's another big move there.
No.
Davis Trask as Kyle Robertson gets bit by the grass and the cold tyres.
Yeah, cold tires are a real factor, especially when it's only 75 degrees Fahrenheit on the track. He rejoins, though, and a little bit of time lost, but the positions are going to be the real struggle to get back.
Feel through the S's before, instead of heading up the next set of S's, you make a sharp cut uphill to the right here and onto what forms part of the Patriot course, but also connects you back around to a roller coaster.
Yeah, Tim Wire pulling out to an early lead. He's got almost what is that, a second between himself and maybe half second at this point between himself and second place.
I think Soto's on his way now, and so Simon Foweather up 2 spots, and so is Davis Trask up 3. So top 4 make their way out the final corner. Tim Wire to lead the first lap of the race. Joshua Soto following in behind him. Kyle Robertson's gotten back on the road, 6 seconds away from the lead. I see Ian Giebler next to try to steal one away from Will Nonamaker. Here's Giebler looking to go around the outside of turn 1. Big swooping move, and he goes up a spot as well. Then you've got Bowie Suin, and there's Kyle Robertson back in the race, back on the road. Just in behind there in the black and green Drive Trainer Honda.
Yeah, I got that good me sponsorship on the roof. I think we can all identify with that.
Are we going to have to explain this for like the 5th time, Devin?
I know.
Well, not really the place I think I'd want to pass. Although, of course, possible.
Yeah, this north course does not offer a ton of passing zones. I mean, turn 1, 2, 3 is always kind of an opportunity, but beyond that, it's tough to do it up the hill here. But that's not going to stop him. Bowie Suin making the move up the inside. Nicely executed. A little tap. Kyle Robertson on the outside again. This time he doesn't keep his foot in it as he headed towards the grass there. He'll carry a little more speed here. Go ahead.
Robertson was seeing 2 for 1. Now a little bit wide goes Mark Kruger, I think it is, back there. No. Kruger's the one on the road. Orlando Herald may be kicking up a little bit of dust. Logan Sennhauser in the Audi at the tail of the field there. Ian Giebler setting the fastest lap of the race as the tyre temperature begins to come in on these cars. Kruger in yellow. Oh boy.
That was an exciting moment for them.
I haven't seen
Giebler
the
setting that
driver, so I can't make any funny references.
I was going to say, Giebler set that fastest lap of the race from 5th place, so he's looking racy in the early phases here. Still more time to come off, though, gotta think. Wire looking really comfortable still up front as he goes through 7, 8A, and 8B. And it's kind of deceiving from this camera, you know. It looks kind of like a Sunday drive, just weaving through there a little bit, but you really have to place the car perfectly through that section of the course. Otherwise, you're lifting big just to try and stay on the racing line. It's a really subtle technical part of the track.
It's Fairweather in third, and we can all pour one out for what used to be called Audi Sport Customer Racing. And Tim Wire always finding a little bit of speed now out front. We're going to trade some fastest laps, I think, as the fuel burns away and as the tyres, which are pretty resilient but start pretty cold, start to come in. Of course, some of the other cars that race in the ChampCar iRacing series are on kind of closer to a road car treaded tyre, or at least a performance semi-slick. But these, no, they're just pure IMSA specs. So they are on that slick Michelin tyre, and yeah, it behaves like a race tyre. Certainly, we love the tyre on the Ford Mustang FR500S. And you see some of them, the balance of the car changing lap to lap to lap. Davis Trask, it's starting to get him into a little bit of trouble. You can barely see Ian Giebler in 5th place. He's all over Trask for 4th place.
Oh, he gets over the curb on the inside, though, and gets it all kinds out of shape. These front-wheel drive cars love to run real stiff suspension, and that was on display there. He'll close that down again, though. I think Giebler's got a little bit more pace than Trask at this phase of the race right now. Sure enough, he's right back on his bumper as they head down into the hog pen here. Oh, and another one off the road ahead of them.
Way off the road, Simon Fairweather. He had a bit of a bounce off the curb. He's gone wide out into the grass. He's lost a lot of speed. He's now lost 2 positions. About to make it 3. There's Kyle Robertson back through the road, and whoa. Okay, yeah, that's a bit of a look at how it all happened. Tim Wire still pacing away in the lead of the field, 2.5 seconds from Josh Soto. Davis Trask and Giebler are 3rd and 4th back there.
Yeah, it hasn't slowed that battle between Trask and Giebler down. It's just moved it further up the grid. They're now racing for the back end of the podium. And that little incident has kind of gathered up the field again. We got a few battles going on up and down the grid.
One of my neighbours has got this generation of Honda Civic, and it's parked on the street, and I can see it out my window right now. And every time I see it, I go, yeah, it'd be cooler if it was a TCR car. And of course, there's a newer generation as well, but not on iRacing.
That's good stuff. We've got, I'm starting to see a battle closing up here between Orlando Herald and Mark Kruger. They're a little deeper in the pack, 8th and 9th on the line right now, or 9th and 10th rather. Kruger's gone by earlier this lap from a little mistake for Orlando, but the two of them are getting close. And actually, in the background, you can just see Logan Sennhauser hiding along behind them too. He's come along and said he's not much of a TCR guy, but his goal for the race is to survive. He's doing that admirably so far.
Trask and Giebler Ian Giebler looking around the outside, no pass to happen there, looking for a cutback into NASCAR left hook complex of corners. One of the moves that you do see happen with some regularity, but he's not confident enough. He still remains behind. Kyle Robertson arrives on the scene with a great amount of speed.
Yeah, Robertson would love these two to keep battling and make room for him while they're at it.
Ian Giebler looking for a pass, couldn't get it done, still behind Davis Trask. Kyle Robertson, we know, very opportunistic as far as picking up the spot with some cars battling in front of him. Seen that happen already. Up here at the entrance to the roller coaster. And like all good entrances to a roller coaster, there's a metal bar that says you must be this tall to ride.
Isn't it a broom handle that has to fit between the helmet and the roof or something? I can't remember.
Like that, not afraid of the curbs either, and the sooner you get those front wheels down and on the ground, the sooner you can unleash the turbocharged horsepower, which is always the how do I get to the throttle earliest is how you get quick in a TCR car like this. Big slipstream from Ian Giebler, slight defense from Davis Trask. Kyle Robertson still biding his time just a little bit. Tim Wire stretching away at the lead of the race, 4 seconds ahead of Joshua Soto. Joshua Soto's about another 4 seconds up the road from this battle over third at the moment.
It's getting close right there. There, nose to tail through the snake.
It's so close that thinking about it was Kyle Robertson, but he wasn't willing to throw the car in there so deep. And Ian Giebler had him covered for just a moment. The group of drivers behind were quicker on the last lap as well. Bowie Seward and Simon Foweather. We know Simon Foweather has been off the road. He's coming back through the field now. Bowie Seward's doing all right in the Hyundai Elantra, and maybe the long run might favour him a little bit. So plenty of racing happening already inside of the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, Robertson touched the grass on the braking zone to roller coaster that time and nearly made contact with Ian Giebler. A lot of curb too, and this time I think he might have enough of a run. No, he had to lift on the exit after jumping that curb. So now it's Trask who looks like he might be under threat from Ian Giebler, who's getting the draft down the straightaway, and they're real close behind them too. Giebler's looking out wide. He's going to try and make this outside move into turn number one work. Oh, and Robertson makes the big dive.
My oh my, okay. Is that going to work out? No, not quite. There's where the grip is on the exit of that hairpin is actually a little odd, and you find it's closer to the inside than where you'd expect to track out. Ian Giebler seems to be just really good at managing that speed off these corners. He had it better through Hogpen, he has it better through turn one.
Yeah, definitely getting the line a little smoother, it looks like. It's a little tricky too with the differences in setup and differences, and make these cars. You got to think that some of them are doing a little better in the real low speed stuff. Some are a little better in the higher speed kind of stuff like this section of the track. Of course, this battle's all three the same ones. As I say that, I realize it. So it's all down to driver input.
What about this time for Kyle Robertson? Slightly less curb, slightly tighter through the first part. Hopefully more speed onto the pit straight.
I think Giebler's got the same idea though, and he's closer to Trask ahead. And then once you see a guy make a dive bomb like that, you got to kind of respect it. He's going wide again though. Robertson's far enough back, he opts not to do it this time.
Bowie Seward defends Simon Foweather as well. And they don't catch the next cars as much on this lap.
Yeah, just about 2 seconds between them. A little easier to collaborate when you're a group of two than when you're a group of three. Trask's got a little bit of overlap. with Giebler behind. Oh, and because of that, Kyle Robertson got pushed off wide. He's going to get a decent run up the hill here, but he was all kinds out of sorts in the braking zone there. He's lucky he got it wowed down enough to get up the hill.
Yeah, touch and go moment heading into what's a very sharp uphill right-hander there, and Giebler not really able to get down the inside, but here at the top of the roller coaster, Davis Trask one's wide again, and Ian Giebler has nowhere to go. And Kyle Robertson, he squeaks by once again, a monumental amount of curb in the hog pen, an absolute leap, and you know what it gives him? A slow down penalty. And so there goes one of those spots back. Here comes the next group. Bowie Sewin and Simon Foweather are going to be up at speed as well to put Kyle Robertson under some amount of pressure, and the battle forms up for third. There's no battle for the race lead. Here's a big move from Simon Foweather down the inside on Bowie Sewin. And the Audi from Foweather goes ahead.
That was a little uncomfortable for Robertson. He was still tapping the brake all the way down the straightaway, trying to give back that slowdown, and it ended up getting close here between Foweather and Sewin again. Foweather holds the outside, and Sewin is going to be real grumpy about that, I bet, because he had to hit the brakes to make room for Robertson giving back that slowdown. Peek away from here for the second. Right at the back of the pack, we got Logan Senhauser and Orlando Harrell tying it up. The two of them getting nose to tail. Don't always get the chance to show these battles deep in the pack, but Senhauser is just going at the outside, and I think Harrell had a slowdown there from a little bit earlier in the lap. But let Senhauser by. We'll rejoin that battle pack ahead. Ian Giebler makes contact. Makes contact with Davis Trask, shakes him up, lets him keep going.
You can see that on the nose, and yeah, that's just a little bit of a hello. Should be able to get away with that in a front-wheel drive car once it's past the center of the corner, and you can steer your way out of it a little bit. But the damage for Giebler could put him under some level of stress here from Kyle Robertson, lining him up, looking if he can get to the inside of turn one, and he can. And Robertson trying to make this pass for, I think, the third or fourth time here. That was pretty convincing.
Yeah, just stops it on the apex. Nicely executed. Giebler even almost had to take evasive action. Let Simon Foweather get right back up on his bumper, though. And so those are some pretty racy cars in the middle of this pack.
Shout out to Davis Trask, who's been in this position for the last 10 minutes or so. And he still leads the pack. He's had Kyle Robertson sniffing at him. He's had Ian Giebler sniffing at him. He's got another little group forming up.
Yeah, if he does this for another 10 minutes, we might have to start calling him Truly.
Like the F1 driver, or like the hard seltzer?
I was aiming F1, but I could go for either.
Yeah, be careful not to have too many Truly trains on the weekend.
Oh, it's getting feisty down the front straight. Trask dodges left and lets the inside go to Kyle Robertson. I'm not sure if he thinks he can push Robertson into a mistake. Robertson breaks real late, real inside. Oh,
Simon Foweather gets in, makes a little bit of contact there. So Foweather gets past Ian Giebler, but he's also going to get past Davis Trask, who, as you can see, is incredibly pleased with it. And I think Foweather's kind of giving that one back up. But of course, in a group like this, you can't give away one piece of candy without everyone else putting their hand out as well.
Oh man, it's getting real feisty on the back half of this. Trask has let one by, and Robertson has just run with it. Meanwhile, he's got 3 more guys behind him that really want that spot.
So just a little bit of rubbing his racing, I think, happening out there at the moment. It's a bit of unfair at the moment on the live pictures with Davis Trask. Simon Foer, Ian Giebler, Bowie Suin behind, and almost for the second time getting a little bit of rear bumper impact on the way into the roller coaster for Davis Trask. The witness marks still born on Ian Giebler's car for that one, and showing a little bit too much of the front tyre as well. Looking like a lot of understeer based on the trajectory of that car and where the tyres were pointing. Simon Foer decides that I've had enough of this, and he is one of the first cars, the first car, onto pit lane. Pitting this early, what does he do? Does he put new tyres on? Does he think that's going to give him more performance for the remaining 40 minutes of the race? What he is going to have to do is put a dash of fuel in.
Yeah, get it fueled up and pop that front bumper out. We got a good look at it there. The car's looking a little better now. Have to think that the tires are good, you know, but he is up on the jacks. I don't know these TCRs though. I think they're always up on the jacks when they stop.
No, he might be going for fronts only, potentially. But the car would not go up on the jacks if it was fuel only.
Okay, well, we'll see what that gives them.
But of course, it's still waiting on the fuel.
I was kind of wondering if we'd see anyone break out of that battle pack early. It's been pretty feisty in there, and it's definitely costing them a bit of time. I think they could all run closer to a low 130. And with Robertson driving away from them, you know, that's got to be a worry. Wow, and this is some pretty long stops. Full weather still stopped. That seems wild to me, unless there's a penalty. Maybe it was a speeding or something.
It's rolling now. And it's a bit long. It basically costs him a whole lap here around this short VIR North configuration. There's Kyle Robertson. There's Davis Trask, Ian Giebler, Bowie Suin.
You try to get away from him and you come out right in front of him.
And we suspect he's going to have to warm up a set of tyres now as well. Davis Trask runs a little bit wide. Ian Giebler gets alongside him, but has the outside for the next 3 corners. Not a good way to go about it. Looking to go back underneath. Bowie Suin gets out on a creative line as well. Not sure what's happening here, but Davis Trask keeps his position.
He's really got that thing maneuverable, you know, right up on the nose as he's bouncing it around. It's a funny position for Simon Foer here because he'll be getting the blue flag for Kyle Robertson, but he's racing him for position. If that's who's that? That's Trask off the track. Yeah, Trask takes it wide, loses the spot here to Ian Giebler, has to give it up. And the pressure's too much.
Track as well and
stopped. Yeah, I think that pit stop might have been an error. So that makes a little more sense to me.
So with a third of the race done, Tim Wire leading, extending his advantage over Joshua Soto. Tim Wire holding down the fastest lap of the race. Kyle Robertson back into third. He's got a particular teammate, friend, family, relation, whatever you're trying to follow along with in this race. HJBC.live has the live timing.
Yeah. Impressive stuff, though, from Tim Wire. We're not spending a lot of time with him because this battle's been so much fun, but he is really putting in the laps right now. It's mighty impressive. There's not a lot of guys that drive away from Josh Soto this season. And Tim's doing one of the rare examples of that. We'll see. It's a long race, you know. Still more than 35 minutes to go. So these guys will have the opportunity to see what the wrong side of tire wear looks like, and have to keep their consistency up, even if they don't have a lot of pressure on them. All those good traits of an endurance racer.
It's 1 hour long enough to find the wrong side of a Honda K motor as well.
Depends on how hard you're trying. Meanwhile, I think
itty bitty breeds of dog that are less stressed than a Honda K motor.
Depends on how big of a junkyard turbo you slapped on it, isn't it, Haynes?
How much you adjusted the red line rev limiter by, I think, is the case as well.
That too. Well, Trask and Bowie aren't quite done yet. Bowie definitely preferring the deeper braking line. Having a hard time getting it turned, though, while he's stopping so hard. Logan Sennhauser's been kind of taking chunks out of Mark Kruger ahead of him as well, with Orlando Harrell not too far behind. It's fun to see Sennhauser really committing to moving across the track for the racing line, and Orlando's just straight lining it through that section. Big contrast in styles. Both making it work, though, to the tune of about 4 or 5 tenths a second a lap quicker than Kruger at this point. I gotta say, I think Sennhauser's got the livery battle won today with the Coors Light on the car.
I'm guessing the mountains aren't blue.
I don't know, they're going pretty fast out there, The wind chill might be getting to them.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, they're racing in the jungle, I forgot. Here in Virginia.
See, it's the perfect livery for the Colin Chapman and Lotus fan because it's simple and it adds lightness.
The public won't get to see the video replay of the gears turning in David Haynes' head as he was working on that one.
Don't
but I'll
pull
tell you
back
from
the
the
curtain,
booth, it was good. Good stuff. So I'm getting the sense that Sennhauser is getting a little through here. Yeah. Oh, and there's a battle there for Trask and Suen.
There is, you take a look at it. Suen had a late dive to the inside here to make a little bit of contact on the way up the hill, and Davis Trask doesn't mind returning that one to sender.
Nicely defended, and I guess that's the rule today is, Suen kind of had nowhere to go as Trask got a little bit wrong through there, I think. And Trask will dive for the pit lane this time after a second shot to his rear end.
Joshua Soto from second place is also already in as well, so a couple of cars hitting their marks. You can see he got in pretty hot, but he locked it up too early. Joshua Soto, a little bit of a sloppy stop to this point. That car's not going up on the jacks, I note, so we'll keep an eye across that for everyone. I can't help but think that the cold tyres for Simon Foweather is half of the reason he was out in the Virginia greenery.
Yeah, seems likely. You'd
and a 22-second pit stop for Joshua Soto is a lot closer to what we would have expected.
Yeah, they use real fueling rigs for these, dry brakes and all. Haven't seen anyone else go up on the jacks yet.
The old iRacing classic is that all of these cars are scanned in the sprint race configuration, but they behave like they've got the endurance kit on them. Same thing with the Porsche Cup car. You don't see the dry brake refueler because they've scanned a sprint challenge car, but then in an endurance race it behaves like it's got all of the endurance racing kit on a TCR car or a Porsche Cup car or anything else like that. GT3s likewise. Tim Wire on the lane.
I never noticed that till you pointed it out. Ruining the illusion.
These are the things that keep me up at night, Devin Peters.
A couple others, Kyle Robertson hitting the lane, Ian Giebler behind him, so we got our whole top three on the lane this time by. Bowie Suen hits from fourth as well. So it looks like we're just about on time for those pit stops. Orlando Harrell's going to push it one lap longer. Have some fun leading the race while you can.
It's absolutely classic Orlando Herald, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he does it. He does it here, whatever the car. He does it in the Spec 5 World Tour as well. He's always the last driver to pit. So, pit stops pretty equal across everyone so far. Although Will Nonamaker had a pretty long lane time, but short stop time. Is that how the cake song went?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you do that. Oh. I got the reference now. It took me a second to get there.
I was halfway through the sentence before I remembered that the song existed. So that's where I'm at.
So Orlando Herald carries on. He's got the lead for now. Meanwhile, Tim Wyer's still got about 7 seconds. No, closer to 9 seconds between himself and Josh Soto after the stop. And pretty comparable, though he managed to shave about 2 seconds off the exit of it, so showing up real prepared. Perhaps the most interesting story right now is actually that Kyle Robertson has managed to find his way all the way back up to the bumper of Josh Soto. Nearly the bumper, with about 2 seconds between them.
Yeah, not only third, but not far away from second place either. Having a pretty good run at the moment. Orlando Herald makes the stop in his Elantra.
Now, they're all in the same Civic, too, so, you know, my first thought was maybe Soto's just picked the wrong car for this week, but he's doesn't have any excuses there. He's looking pretty quick. You know, is the rest of the cars. The rest of the guys driving that car, so I don't know.
Maybe Kyle was just paying more attention during Civics class.
Oh, shooting hot tonight is David Haynes.
We gotta wait until the end of this lap to really get an update on relative pace between Joshua Soto and Kyle Robertson. But Robertson certainly can. Well, he'll be motivated by seeing a target here in the form of the championship leader, no less.
Yeah. Feels good to put one over on him, for sure.
So here out the final corner we go. And handily for these cars, a good lap time is basically exactly a minute 30. Basically exactly 90 seconds. So Joshua Soto has a 30.6. Kyle Robertson has a 30.2. So pulls 4/10 out of Joshua Soto and is not far away from then also being able to get a couple of extra tenths for free. Bit of a Black Friday sale in the slipstream down the pit straight.
I gotta love it. Kind of surprised by how much of a difference we saw between the various pit stoppers in terms of overall lane time. It's kind of broken up our battle in the mid-pack, but we'll see if that gets back together for us in a moment here. Overall, I think who's our first stopper? I guess there was the whole patch of them that stopped.
Simon Foweather, if you want to measure it that way,
Yeah.
or Joshua Soto, if you want to measure it the other.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for more TCR fun facts, Devon?
Oh, let's go.
The rear wing we're looking at is identical across every TCR model. Not exactly how it's mounted, but the wing element and its end plates are the same on every TCR. It's a spec component, and I believe it makes it easier to bop them. Same for the front splitter as well, but you see less of that than this rear wing. See, again, different mounting system. We're on a Elantra here. The struts are wider, but the size, width of the rear wing and the size of the end plates. I'm pretty sure the end plates are also the same across.
Yeah, there's spec as well.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I knew this fun fact, but didn't know about the splitter side of things. It's an awful scoopy wing, though, it must be said.
It doesn't look like it's got quite as many polygons as it deserves.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself, too. I can't see all the holes that are punched through the side of it normally. You know, for mounting it all the different ways. Maybe you can't adjust the wing on these. Just the angle, I guess, yeah. Anyway, while we've been speculating about the angle, Kyle Robertson's been driving the angles. He's got himself all caught up to Josh Soto, and we'll see if Josh Soto gives him a hard time or decides to get back in line.
It is crazy. You know who's quicker than these two? Ian Giebler in fourth. He is flying along at the moment and only a little bit away from the fastest lap of the race. So plenty happening, like Kyle Robertson almost helping Joshua Soto into a little bit of a spin. They're absolutely locked together off the final corner. Joshua Soto to the inside towards the pit wall, now a little more middle of the road.
Robertson wasted no time, and we'll see if he can pull his late braking routine. Soto doesn't give him an edge. Robertson's going to do a little bit different of a line from out wide, but not enough to get an overlap. Not yet, anyway. Soto's kind of parking it as they turn in through left hook and NASCAR. Other way around. Ooh, Robertson takes a lot of curb, perhaps for not being able to see it. I wonder if he's registered too that Giebler is approaching behind. And in trying to scare Soto that time, he unloaded the car a little bit, got a little wiggly in the braking zone.
Yeah, it's on here. Robertson been known to look for the overtake in some odd places. Joshua Soto now something of a seasoned veteran of ChampCar iRacing series.
I was surprised to see him with the long pit stop because normally he's pretty dialed in on that, but he's not having his best day today. We'll see if Robertson and Giebler can make it even worse for him.
Mighty close. While Ian Giebler finds that the track is getting quicker. And now he does have the fastest lap of the race, closing in on the battle for second and third, ready to add a little bit of spice to the podium fight in the back half of the race.
Oh, this is going to be a good time. 20 minutes to go and a few drivers that want it real bad. Last time by, that was second and a half that Giebler pulled out of him, so he's going to be on him in another lap here. Soto's just going to keep doing his best, I think, to be really difficult to get around.
I was thinking maybe did Ian Giebler take some new tyres while these others didn't, and that's giving him an advantage, but no. Nothing like that for Ian Giebler. All he got was a little bit of the damage on the front left of the car fixed, and he's right back in the fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Giebler's figured out, but he's figured something out. He's lapping here 0.5 of a second faster than his best in qualifying, and that's even with him just barely starting to tickle the draft.
Watching everything that's unfolding up front, which is Joshua Soto defensively covering the inside line. Kyle Robertson has looked for a crossover before. Now he looks to just go plain around the outside of turn one for reasons we've discussed earlier. Not a lot of traction out there, but he is nothing if not persistent. Kyle Robertson still trying to muscle his way into second place. Soto not giving up on it. Ian Giebler counting his lucky days as they're side by side for the fourth corner in a row. Now on their way into the S's, trading just a little bit more paint. Joshua Soto having one back, and it's 1, 2, 3 Honda Civics.
All in a row. I think that was 4 corners side by side and 3 door-to-door contacts too. Soto holds on to it though. Oh, I love this.
He's been very, very kind to Ian Giebler as well. He was catching them a little bit, and then he was catching them a lot as they went side by side from turn 1
And did you
around
notice
to the
that?
exit of the S's.
Did you notice that last time by they ran exactly the same lap time down to the 1,000th? So they're glued together right now ahead of them.
And repeat again with 21 minutes to go.
It's fun listening to all the sequential gearboxes downshifting into turn 1. As all 3 of them are shifting at the same time.
Remember when Audi thought that their road car DSG would stand up to racing, potentially even in 24-hour races? Oh boy, they learned quickly. Every BOP sheet had, they were the same chassis, different balance of performance for the 6-speed sequential gearbox versus the road car Audi DSG gearbox. Ooh, bit wide from Ian Giebler. It was such a useless piece of nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely. Robertson was dodging. He braked really late, and Giebler had to take evasive action from Robertson in the braking zone there, but I think that was more on Giebler than it was Robertson. And now with this little gap.
Road car was about half the price of the racing sequential, but if you launch them at 10 times the rate, it doesn't take long before you go, why on earth? Good exit from Kyle Robertson, like you say, but around the outside, he's bold, he's tried it, it hasn't worked yet. That's why he's looking for a switch, and it's not going to open up how he wanted into turn 1 up there either.
This is a fiery battle. Soto getting the double dummy plate on him, outside all the way inside, and then back to the racing line for Robertson. Robertson had a moment where he had a gap back to Giebler and decided to take advantage of it by weaving all over the place. And,
Which football play is that? Outside, inside, outside.
Hard to say. Hard to say which football you're talking about, if we're honest.
Well,
is this Aussie rules? Is this a National Football League? Is this CFL? Soccer, God forbid?
One of them's got to have an outside, inside, outside.
Sure thing. Oh, while these guys are putting on a show, Tim Wyer's putting in fast laps. He's got 5/10 on him last time by, and he's out to 17 seconds ahead. Running all alone, just lap traffic keeping him company. And bringing honor to the Salen's name, you gotta say. Meanwhile, our battle pack is back to thinking about too wide in the braking zone here, I think. Soto commits early to the inside. Says, no, sir, you're not going up my inside.
Not even room for the old outside, inside, outside. As Soto gets all the way inside. Maybe he has to leave a bit of space around the outside here for Kyle Robertson, who again is going to go around the outside of turn 1. Hope that the NASCAR left hook combination can get him ahead and clear, but he hasn't been able to outbrake Joshua Soto through this section of the lap before. Soto's still there, still alongside him and still turning in, demanding a little bit of space. There's a squeeze and Kyle Robertson gets ahead.
Yeah, I think we'd see some fiberglass flying if this were the real world, but they get away with it there. And Soto's lost a little bit of momentum, but Giebler gives him the benefit of the doubt and lifts on the straightaway.
So is it Giebler's time now? He caught these guys quickly, and then he's sort of watched Robertson and Soto do their little dance. Does he have the pace to make some more passes here?
I think he's got the pace. It's going to be a matter of finding his way around Soto and then finding his way around Robertson. And both of them have been plenty aggressive this race. It seems pretty clear they're not going to make it easy.
Robertson and Soto mowing company. Exit of the final corner. Not a great exit for Joshua Soto. We ride on board with Ian Giebler hunting down third place. Eyes on a podium. Not close enough in towards turn one, and Soto's also still got the slipstream off Kyle Robertson. A little bit of a DRS train in F1 terminology. We know Giebler, at least in some phases of this race, has a bit of speed to burn.
Yeah, if I'm honest, it does seem like all the pace, or the biggest bit of pace differential, is just on the first turn. I don't know what else to say about it. Robertson put 2/10 on Josh Soto through turn number one, and they're pretty much identical the rest of the way last time by. So something about that hairpin is just not agreeing with Soto, and I think once Giebler figures that out, he'll be on him and past him real quick.
Top of the roller coaster, keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. That's what window nets are for.
A good run here for Giebler, and you think with the draft he'll be able to get alongside. We'll see which side Soto decides to give him. But this is a more quality run than we saw Robertson have most of the time, and sure enough, he makes the move out to the outside pretty quick, pretty decisive. Soto's still breaking last, though. Doing a good job of kind of just trailing that little bit of break to make sure you're an obstacle on the over-under. Really nicely executed stuff.
Yeah, tactically making a little nuisance of himself in some places.
Oh, and as I was saying earlier, we haven't seen a ton of battles with Soto this season. He's had such dominant form in some of the other cars that we're racing, so we haven't gotten to enjoy his racecraft, but it's on display here today. So he desperately tries to hold on for another 15 minutes in this race here. Another 10 minutes. No,
this
15.
Says Joshua Soto, 4 wins, an average start of second, an average finish of third. Whoa, that's way out of sorts there.
Yeah. Oh, and it must be a slowdown as he drives out of the way.
It was.
You get a little too far over the curbs, and you got to pay for it. And does the honorable thing, gets off the racing line, lets Ian Giebler by, and we'll see if Giebler is able to drive his way up to Kyle Robertson now. He'll be towing along a frustrated Soto, I got to think, who could be a factor.
Yeah, so Robertson to second, Giebler through to third for the moment. Behind them.
Yeah, we got this little battle developing between Suen and Trask. Trask is diving into the turn number one right now with Suen behind. And just behind them is Will Nonamaker in the other Salence car, the red and yellow one. And those three have kind of been closing up. Last time by, Suen was about a second faster than Davis Trask. So wonder if Trask is struggling a little bit at this phase of the race. Got Suen in the Elantra, Trask in the Civic.
You know, in Australia, they call it the i30 sedan.
It's a cooler name.
In England, they call it His Majesty's Sedani Wanny.
Got Monty Python in the booth with me here tonight. Oh, Suen's now right on the bumper of Trask. They go into roller coaster this time. checked out for a moment, though, to just check in on Giebler as he heads down into turn number 1. And back on with Trask. He's going to have a bit of a problem here in the braking zone in the form of Boy Suin behind. We'll see which lane Suin goes with. He brakes later, he brakes deeper, and he's going to stay on the track, but barely. Whew. Sometimes being the last guy to brake isn't always the best thing. Saw some evidence of that there.
So, Will Nonemaker also catching him. Showed a lot of speed in qualifying. Dropped quite a bit early in the race. Maybe now coming back to him somewhat. It's Davis Trask, Bowie Suin battle. Will Nonemaker begins to catch just a little bit.
It's a pretty amazing battling in the TCR today. All the cars trying to occupy the same bits of track. Last time by for Suin was another full second advantage, and both the same for Nonemaker. So it's been interesting. I've been kind of riding along with Nonemaker a little bit, and I keep hearing him just pegging it off the rev limiter. It's like he can't see the shift light or something. It's just running it all the way out. We'll see if we can hear it here as we ride along. You hear it? I don't know. Anyway,
That's plenty of it.
Every single one of the shifts is like that. Maybe in the real car, there's a little bit of leeway there on the rev limiter. Makes it worth the while. I know my
green
car.
light means go and red light means shift.
As I say, I think my the guys I've rented with lately have been well, they don't like it so much when you pound it off the rev limiter like that. So at least on iRacing, I guess you get to drive it like you stole it.
Yeah, a little tickle on the rev limiter every now and again. The rev limiter is doing its job and protecting the engine. If it's every lap, every shift, I'm not so sure. At worst, you're just making the engine hotter than it needs to run.
Sounds cool.
Or at a minimum, you're doing that.
Checking back in with Giebler now. We see him diving down into turn number 1. He's spread the gap between himself and Soto out to about a second and a half, closing down slowly but surely on Robertson. Gained almost nothing last time by. It was about 500s he pulled, but he's trying his damnedest to get caught up to Kyle Robertson. And we'll see if he's able to do it in the last 8 minutes. I think without a little bit of help, he's going to be hard pressed. But we did see more pace than that 30.4 he just put in earlier in the race, so maybe he can find his way back to that 29.8. And if he throws in a couple of those, he'll be in the slipstream.
Is it refreshing to see something that's not a Civic?
Yeah. I wonder what the split on iRacing is of Civic guys to non-Civic guys, in the TCR class. Got to think that was a popular one for them with the LA Honda World, and all the guys running clapped out Civics at every ice race and ChampCar race from the North Pole down to the tip of Florida and beyond. And all of a sudden, Ian Giebler is right there with Kyle Robertson. Only ran 0.4 of a second faster last time by, but managed to find 0.7. So I think something's gone on into turn number 1 there for for Robertson. He's gotten it a little bit wrong, maybe a little too deep on the brakes.
If you're going to have a good couple laps, right about now's the time. 7 minutes to go in the ChampCar iRacing Series from VIR North. Round 11 of 12 of the championship. A lot of prizes still to be drawn as well.
Yeah, and despite the fact that Robertson found the grass early and Giebler was approximately nowhere in qualifying, relatively speaking, these two are going to give us a heck of a battle at this rate for the final 4 or 5 laps here. And overcast weather is helping these guys stick and really push these cars.
Yep, and Giebler still has the fastest lap of the race to his name, even if it's by a very, very small margin against the lap times that Tim Wire has been able to run out front with a 16-second lead. Just in that draft, so important.
129 last time by compared to a 131.6 from Kyle Robertson.
Yeah, that'll do it, won't it?
Definitely showed up in the gap. We'll see. No more mistakes, Kyle. Pressure's mounting.
Or if you do run the outside, inside, outside, you got to make sure you throw that pass good.
Yeah, and you know, lay out for the sports ball catch. Riding with Giebler up the hill here. Must be those Summit Racing parts he's got under the hood. A little bit slow coming up the hill, if I'm honest, that time. Wonder if he caught a bit of a slowdown at the bottom of the hill. It's possible to do a few spots down there, but you know what? Actually, I think it was that left hook. He took so much curb that yeah, cost him a slowdown. So that's backed him off to about 2.5 seconds. We'll see if Robertson slips up again. In the meantime, we're rejoining our battle from before. And you're seeing there on the bottom, Tim Wires said, no, I want the fastest lap of the race, 29.7.
Race leader's had a scorcher and he's gelling very well with the Honda Civic TCR. Just as I said, Ian Giebler, you know, he's still holding down the fastest lap of the race. No longer is he. Tim Wire burning through some of the fuels, may have saved some of the tyres, maybe even had a tiny bit of a cool down run on them, and he's flying along. Kyle Robertson also seems to have found his mojo as well, just at the same time that Ian Giebler pushed a little too hard, rode a bit too much curb in this part of the track. So maybe just letting him off the hook slightly with 4 minutes left. 3 laps though, based on where Tim Wire is.
Bowie Suin's getting right back on the bumper of Davis Trask. There's only a couple car lengths between them now. So they come into the lower S's here. Oh, and a little moment ahead from Trask. And that little wiggle is going to cost him some critical momentum up the hill here. Suin's closing.
He is, and here he comes into the uphill bend. You see there's that extra little bit of connecting road there as well that they like to use on the exit to just open it up a little bit, and then you're just following the correct line here in the snaking section to then just point straight at the roller coaster. Brake hard, brake late, and you're back on some more familiar circuit. Trask a little wide at the top of the hill, but then it's a short run down here and you can sort it out, figure it out, get it back online for the hog pen and really just focus on the exit from the hog pen to try to preserve your speed. 3 laps to go for these drivers as they cross the start finish line. Bowie Suin's in the slipstream and it can be worth about 2 miles an hour, which is plenty given how close the racing is otherwise, how close the lap times are without it.
Yeah, BOP is definitely working based on what these guys are showing tonight.
Call me handsome because bop. 0.2 of a second for a bit there between Bowie Suin and Davis Trask. 5th and 6th. Suin, he's got a bit more speed, it seems, at this point, but he's just got to... It's got to happen soon because we are running out of time.
Yeah, the consistency's been a little tough. He gets close, but then a little mistake, a little bit of an offline, and just not quite close enough to make the move. We'll see if he can get the run. He's got the position going up the hill, but I think you actually lose a little bit because of the aero push going up the hill here.
Yeah, you're forced to follow and you can't pass, and so maybe you do lose out a little bit through there. As you said, it's kind of just snaking enough that you got to lift out of the throttle a little bit in bits just to keep the nose pointing the right way, keep you on the right line, keep you on the train tracks through there.
Suin too deep through the hog pen that time. Loses a little bit of momentum. Have to make up some ground. Unfortunately for him, this is the best passing zone on the track, and it won't be this time. 2 to go.
Yeah, that's right. Praying for a little bit of a miracle here inside of the final minute, and then the final lap after that. Suin's fastest lap of the race is 0.2 quicker than Davis Trask's, but right here is where it counts. When you line up and you battle and you try to pass, you've got to be consistently quicker in the right places, and able to exploit a weakness or a vulnerability of the driver you're trying to get around.
Tim Wire takes the white flag.
Words straight out of my mouth. Starting the final lap of the race, 20 seconds left on the clock. Tim Wire from pole position has looked like he's had it all sorted out in the Salins Honda, and he just puts the Music Man Mark Kruger a lap down right towards the end here. Joshua Soto had nothing to answer to it. Kyle Robertson's got nothing to answer to it. Still a couple more questions to be asked on the final lap between Davis Trask and Bowie Suin.
Yeah, Trask has a decent run, but Bowie's close enough. He's going to be feeling the draft all the way down the front straight here. Peeks it out a little bit early, maybe trying to lure Trask over to the other side of the track. Brace real deep. We've seen this one before. Unfortunately for him, I'm not sure he's getting it turned, and he does manage to stay on the track, but yeah, that might have been the last chance he has. We'll see if he manages to get another one before the end of the lap here.
Miracle of miracles, just to even keep it on the track there as well. He did get a good run off Hogpen, but couldn't just get to the line that he wanted. Maybe felt it was a little all or nothing on the final lap, and he's probably shot his best shot on this final lap of the race. Will Nonamaker had to pit coming to the white flag there as well. I noticed that his pit stop was a little short, and that thing is going to need a splash. I think it coughed and spluttered on its way into the box as well, but Tim Wire takes the race win from pole, and it's a win for Wire.
I think it was just a team photo deal. Wanted to get the team car in the background in the pit lane as he crossed the line. Kyle Robertson coming to the line as well. He'll take second place after that little slip up from Giebler, sends him to third. Josh Soto carries on with some consistent pace. He'll be in fourth. And Trask is going to be able to hold off Bowie Suin by the looks of things, unless he sputters fuel here on the way to the line. But he won't, and he makes it with Bowie Suin just a couple tenths behind him.
Mark Winterbottom actually got robbed of a top 10 in the Bathurst 1000 this year, doing what Will Nonamaker did, because the pit exit closed on him while he was in the pit lane, having pitted on the white flag lap. Because the leader lapped him while he was in the pit lane, he couldn't exit the pit lane, he couldn't cross the start-finish line, he couldn't be a classified finisher. Weird little thing there. You do got to be careful pitting in the final laps in some championships. And Logan Sennhauser, his words an hour ago: personal goals in this race don't die. Well, he's waited till he crossed the checkered flag before he threw caution to the wind. Get back on that racetrack, young man.
Get that thing to the pit lane.
Cause light and drive responsibly. Everyone's crossed the checkered flag now, or been scored in the case of Will Nonamaker. Tim Wire with the win from Kyle Robertson, Ian Giebler, Joshua Soto, Davis Trask, Bowie Sewin, Logan Sennhauser, Mark Kruger, Will Nonamaker, and Orlando Herrell. Simon Foweather, I think, had a penalty coming to pit entry, took some tyres, didn't like him, and we didn't see him at the end of this one, but he was part of some pretty exciting racing before that. And it was pretty close. Always some battle to watch across the 60 minutes of the ChampCar iRacing Series, round 11 from VIR North.
Yeah, looking into our commentary box, looks like we've got Ian Giebler, our third place finisher, showed some real pace there in the middle of the race.
Yeah, I was had to kind of put my head down when I didn't want Josh and Kyle to run away. Then I heard it say, "You set the fastest lap of the race," and I was like, "Oh, all right, I'm doing what I need to do."
Yeah, I was wondering if you found the scramble button or something in there when you all of a sudden were lapping 5/10 faster than you did in qualifying during the race.
Yeah, I think the track temps did come down. The track did feel a little faster about that time in the race. But I had, the carrot was dangling in front of me, and they started racing each other. So I closed the gap pretty quick, and then, it was a fun race. Unfortunately, when I caught Kyle, I had a small course cut trying to just find a little bit of time, and then we ended up being 2 to 3 seconds apart for the rest of the race after that.
Well, it's a good finish for you anyway, finishing on the podium, and it's got to be fun to see a good friend having some success today up there at the front.
Oh, I'm super excited for Timmy. We were hoping to go 1-2, but I'm glad to be sharing a podium with them. He had, I think he swept. He had fastest qualifying, fastest lap in the race, and he won the race, and I think that's all first for him. So it was a killer race. He's good in these cars. I'm happy to see him do so awesome tonight.
Well, happy for you and happy for your friend. Anyone you need to shout out for tonight?
Just the normal side of the car says it all. Summit Racing. We've got sim equipment too. If you're looking for some Black Friday deals, check us out. See what we've got. We've got a lot of vendors on sale right now.
Good stuff. I might have to go shopping tonight. Cheers.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And I got Kyle Robertson here too. Kyle, pretty eventful little race for you. It seemed like it was all going wrong early, and then you managed to sort things out before the end.
Yeah, it was an interesting first lap. I feel like I had the pace to keep up with Tim, but as you saw, just had some circumstances on the first lap. Had to try and claw my way back, but it was a fun race. I really, really love driving this car. So I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I really wish I could have battled him, but hey, I'm not going to be upset with second,
Well, you showed some definite speed out there. It looked like you were the champion of the braking zone for most of the race until you caught up to Soto.
Yeah, he's very good at being defensive there. I had to try and position myself, to try and get past him, but yeah, kind of try and make up my time in braking a lot. Again, I can tell you these load cell pedals are awesome. It helps,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm envious. I'm standing on my G27 right now and feeling some envy.
Hey, I can't knock those. G27s are awesome.
Oh yeah, they're good. They're good stuff. But anyway, it's. I think this is this a series best finish for you? I'm not sure I've seen you up this high.
I think I finished second previously, or maybe third. I know last year at Sebring, I was just telling Tim that last year Sebring battling Josh. I think I came in third then too. So it's probably maybe my third or fourth podium overall. But hey, I'm trying to make this a regular thing. Hopefully one position better.
Yeah, I was going to say it. Well, it was a pretty good showing, and you put on a good show, and we always appreciate that. So, good one for you tonight. Anyone you need to shout out, thank for all your success tonight.
Yeah. I got my team at Drive Trainer Motorsport. I got to thank them for all the support they put behind me in doing all this. Our sponsors, 10 Flat Detailing, Me Shirts, Drive Trainer Academy, everybody. My wife for letting me sit over here and drive on this at night, taking care of the kids. But Yeah, just thank you guys as well for having such great coverage because I really enjoy this league and you guys put on an awesome show. I love watching these races back.
That's a pleasure. Thanks for another good one. Cheers.
Take care.
While Kyle Robertson had some defensive plays and threw some passes, Tim Wire landed the touchdown at VIR North and is the race winner. Congrats.
Thanks, guys. That was a wild one. I just put my head down and kept going, and I think they started racing a little bit in the beginning there, and I got a little bit of a lead, and I just said, "All right, man, start running some laps." That was awesome.
It's a rare day in the ChampCar iRacing series where you look in your mirror and every lap Joshua Soto is getting smaller.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, Josh has had one heck of a year, man. I mean, congrats to him I'm pretty sure he's got the championship locked up at this point, and good job all year. So to be able to run away from him and Kyle and Ian that are both real fast, man, that was a good one.
The only category of car this season where you choose which model you're after, and you have shopped it around a little bit. I think we've seen you in the Audi before. Here you are in the Honda Civic Type R. Looked like a good choice for this track.
Yeah, I ran the Audi at I think Sonoma and Coda, and it ran really well there. And I tried both leading up to this race, and just I don't know about something about the Honda just felt more comfortable. I think they're both about the same speed. It's just all in your driving style. So I decided to switch cars. Ian and I both did, and actually Will did as well, and the other team sailing car. So we all jumped ship to Hondas, and it seemed to pan out pretty well today.
Yeah, I'd say so. You get the qualifying pole, you get the race win, you get the fastest lap. I think Orlando Herald denied you leading every lap because he will need a fuel cell check post-race.
Yeah, we can't all be Max Verstappen. At least I'll take what I got out of it.
Talk us through maybe a little bit of the strategy there as well, because we saw Simon Foweather, I think, opt to take some tyres, but that was a rare choice today.
Yeah, taking tires in these cars, it's just so slow, and I tried putting fronts on in practice, and I felt like, anyways, the car just took a bad handle with it. So I was like, you know what? It's just easier to put fuel in it, less mistakes I can make on pit road. I've had a handful of those this year too, where I've thrown away podiums by speeding or whatever. So I'm just like, keep it simple, just roll on.
Yeah, perfect. Our third and final visit to VIR as well. This layout, I think I prefer it to the South Course.
Yeah, I would agree. Both of them are kind of tight and hard to pass on, but this one just flows a lot better, and it seems like you can get a good rhythm, and at least you do have the braking zone in the one there where you can still kind of try and dive bomb somebody. And there's a couple other spots that if you got a good run, you could get a pass there. So I would agree. I think I like this one more. South Course is fun too. I mean, VIR in general is fun. I love that track. Everything about it is just a fun track. I loved when we ran the Grand West course. What was that, 2-3 years ago now? That was wild and long, and I think we should do it again.
Oh, there's one vote. More room in the full paddock for grilling hot dogs as well.
Okay.
Congrats. Anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, I mean, Salem's Hot Dogs, obviously. They've been a long-time sponsor of the team. Probably the best hot dogs in the world, as you well know. Honeybee Base is one of our associate sponsors, and obviously ChampCar in real life, and you guys. We enjoy racing with you guys in real life. It's such a great show. It's such a great sportsman series that everybody drives very clean in, very fun, very competitive, and then gosh, what can we say about our iRacing series? I mean, it's the same thing, if not better, over here. I mean, it's such a fun group of people to race with.
Awesome to see you succeed today, and great to chat.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
There you go. Tim Wire joining us from the top step of the podium in round 11 of the ChampCar iRacing series from VIR North. There's one more to go, and it's one of our favourite tracks anywhere in the world. Sebring International Raceway in one of the muscliest cars, the Ford Mustang FR 500S. That's December 13. Remember to go to forum.champcar.org. Find the iRacing section right at the top. You can join us. Parting words from VIR, Devon?
Oh, I'm missing it already. That was a good show, and I can't wait for the next one. The Mustangs, always a good time. Lots of tire smoke, lots of action, and plenty of bumps to go around. Should be a good one.
Do subscribe to us, HJBC, and we've got plenty more sim racing action to bring you before the year is done, and hopefully plenty more in the new year as well. One final round to go in the ChampCar iRacing series for 2023, but the championship winner will be getting a ride in a real endurance race, wheel to wheel, in the new year. We'll wait to see that one. Sebring International Raceway, December 13, final round of the championship. Do join us. We'll see you then.